It all started at work. I started doing 1 or 2 presentations a month. I thought I'd be okay. The next thing I know, I was driving 3 hours to give a free speech. One led to another, and then one day I got paid for it. I felt so cheap. I mean, the worst thing anyone ever did was count my ums and ahs. Love you people. You're so supportive, never judging. Unless there's a contest. I mean, my mother knew that this affliction had affected me early on, but they didn't know what it was. Years ago, they didn't have a diagnosis. My mother told me that my very first words as a baby were, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow. My mother said later on, I used to sit for hours playing with my little letter blocks, and I would spell things out like cat, dog, DTM. They thought I was dyslexic. When I was just 6 years old, my mother used to make me play tea party with my little sister and Ken and Barbie, and I hated it. I have a confession. I used to pretend they were little Toastmaster meetings. They started on time, though. Well, G.I. Joe was a sergeant at arms. I had G.I. Joe give a speech once. Well, he had just written his new book, How to Keep Passion in Your Life Without Being Anatomically Correct.
They're a little slow.
Anatomically a word? I was the only kid on the block that at my lemonade stand, I would put it out there, and I would, just to make customers feel comfortable as they would approach, I would clap. Oh, sure, you think it's funny. Maybe you'd go to a party and speak once or twice and think nothing of it. I had to give the speech at my brother's wedding. I just went on and on. There was no timer. I thought it'd be okay to drive. I went home as quickly as I could. I wasn't but a half mile from my house. I got pulled over. I got a speaking ticket. Wasn't just an officer, no. It was the VP of Education. He made me blow into one of those breath-o-master things. I blew a 4.0. I guess I was still full of hot air. He booked me for STI, speaking to influence. He pulled me out of the car, grabbed my license to speak, cut it up, and threw it on the ground. I was speechless. So I started using gestures. That's how I wound up in jail, where I met my sponsor, Ted Cochran. I would not be here today if it was not for Ted Cochran. He sent me the plane ticket. You know, and Ted taught me those 3 most important statistics whenever you're up here in front of a room. Did you know that when you're in front of a room, 1/3 of the audience is concerned with their own problems? 1/3 of the audience is intently listening. And the other 1/3, they're fantasizing. I'd just like to thank that 1/3. I would like to leave you with the advice that Ted gave to me in jail. Remember, as a Toastmaster, no matter how bad it gets, just take it one speech at a time.
Yeah!